Welcome everyone to WION Reviews. I'm your host Scottish Warrior 92, and today's WION Review I'm going to be asking the simple question: is found the wrong sheath? That's stupid of me. Tomb Raider for Xbox 360 worth it or not? So firstly, I might as well give you a little background with my history with the Tomb Raider franchise. I've played one of the games. I played the original Tomb Raider on PlayStation 1 and I sucked at it. I'll be honest, I couldn't even get past the first level. The controls were horrible, the 3D perspective was pretty choppy, and I didn't like it that much, but I do know a lot of people who did. And now, of course, the Tomb Raider franchise is synonymous with one character, Lara Croft, who has become, shall we say, an almost sex symbol in the gaming community. Anytime I ask anyone, tell me about Lara Croft, the first thing that pops into their head, because it's mostly men I ask, is the girl with massive tits. Or the female Indiana Jones. She was, in my opinion, like, just for me personally, an over-sexualized character. Especially even in the Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie. I like the Tomb Raider films. I don't so much like the previous games. But most people, every time I asked them about Lara Croft, normally talked about how attractive she was. Some people did talk about how the games were fantastic and how they were great. But Lara Croft had eventually evolved into a character, which most of the time I heard about had been dubbed, you know, a sex symbol in gaming, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure she was a fantastic character in other games that I didn't play. So after, I think it's like 9 or 10 games, they decided to reboot the franchise with a origin story, sort of like a prequel to the entire Tomb Raider franchise, having the main character Lara Croft basically not what she's meant, not what she is in the other games. In this game, the prequel, she isn't a confident hunter. She doesn't have her dual wielding pistol, so she doesn't she doesn't do a backflip. She's not as confident as she is in the other games. She isn't sometimes even as skilled in some instances. She's never even killed anyone. She's never had to use any kind of weapon against a human being, as in like shooting someone or stabbing someone or even killing anyone. So the story of this game is the fact that she's going on an expedition to find the lost kingdom of Himito. I think that's the queen. What the fuck's the place called again? I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the place. Yamatai, that's it, Yamatai. Basically a place that was considered lost, and the ruler of Yamatai supposedly had supernatural powers. Of course, she chalks up to, that wasn't real. And subsequently, when they arrive on the island, basically they are shipwrecked, and she is thrust into a situation in which she has to survive, basically. Within the first hour of the game, she goes through hell, literally speaking. She almost drowns. She gets abducted and tied up into some kind of sack. Near enough sets herself on fire to get out of the situation. Is nearly killed by debris and crushed to death. She is captured again, groped, watches people she knows dies, and has to take a human life for the first time. And throughout this first hour or so, she goes through hell. In fact, through a good chunk of the game, she goes through with a massive gash on her side where a piece of rebar went through, which you kind of go, shouldn't she be dead by now? But yeah, without going into too much spoilers, that's basically the plot of the story. Is a story of survival as Lara tries to survive this island and also save the friend she cares about. And also figure out what the fuck is up with this place. Because let's just say they almost get rescued twice in the game, and both times the plane or helicopter that was meant to come and rescue them was literally grabbed out of the sky by the storm and destroyed. Which you go, huh, kind of fucking weird. But yeah, and that's basically the story, as I can't really go into too much spoilers. But I'm going to tell you this right now, the story in this game is absolutely fantastic. I haven't, this is kind of an open world game, but at the same time it's not. It's linear, but at the same time, it's not in the middle. It's a linear open world game, if you can call it that. And I haven't felt connected to a character like this in a linear open world game in a long ass time. Most linear open world games, most of the characters I don't care about because I mostly care about exploring. But in Tomb Raider, I actually cared about Lara. I actually cared about her friends. The story really gripped me in, and you go throughout the story wanting to help Lara survive and trying to make sure that she gets to her friends, that she saves them, that she doesn't fail, basically. And I like that. That's a really good character. And in my opinion, this Lara Croft, I love, and is now one of my favourite characters in gaming. She has to go through hell, basically. She has to learn to kill. She has to learn to survive, basically. And I love that. I really do love that. And I'm going to be honest, I died a few times in this game, and every time I died, I was like, I'm not letting that happen in the game. I literally was like most of the time, I'm not letting you die, Lara. You're going to survive this. I'm going to tell you right now, she dies in some brutal ways. Crystal Dynamic do not skew away from the gory, because she dies in really gruesome ways, and that's how I think is very effective. The way she dies in some instances is very brutal and literally gut-wrenching, because you feel like you're going to be sick over it, because it's so damn brutal, and it kind of makes you go, yeah, I'm not going to make her die that way. One way she dies is doing a rapid sequence where you have to move directionally. She gets impaled by a large spike through the head. And you're like, oh, I'm not letting that happen to him. And once if you fail, she gets crushed by rubble, and it's literally bloody and gory. Someone says she drowns and she gets choked to death. The way that she dies in this game is very well done, and makes you want to make sure she doesn't die again, because she dies in some very brutal fucking way. I'll tell you that right now. Let's see, what else can I talk about? I love this game. I've got to go. I love the story. It's absolutely fantastic. The gameplay as well is absolutely phenomenal. The guns work well. The bow and arrow. I'll tell you right now, the bow and arrow, like Lara Croft's signature weapon is her dual wielding pistols, and her doing backflips while going doing that. In this isn't the case. She only has one pistol, but her signature weapon in this game is her bow and arrow. And that thing will become your best friend. I'll tell you that right now. It is the most effective weapon in the game, in my opinion. But the other weapons as well are really effective, but this one is much more effective because it's a stealth weapon. You can kill enemies quietly, animals as well, to get experience. And it's really well done in that. It's probably one of the best bow systems I've seen in the game in a long ass time. It's very well done, and I love that about it. I'll tell you right now, I use the bow 90% of the time, but the game also, to make sure you don't continuously use the bow, does give you a lot of situations where you can't really use the bow, because a lot of enemies will try and get up close to you and stab you with a machete, and there are enemies with shields who you can't penetrate there without dodging, and you have to actually use your other guns, your pistol, your shotgun, your assault rifle, to actually take care of them. Otherwise the bow is pretty much fucking useless at that point. Until you get it upgraded with like explosive tips, napalm arrows, and fire arrows, which I'll get to in a wee bit. Also, another aspect of the gameplay is the salvage material, the crafting material, which I absolutely love. Throughout the game you will collect salvage, which is basically stuff that's scattered all over there, and that will allow you to upgrade your weapons. And I'll tell you this right now, a lot of the weapons that you come across aren't modern weapons. A lot of them are very old weapons. The most modern weapon you'll have for the majority of the game is a 9mm pistol. The other weapon you have is a Chinese assault rifle from World War II with a side clip and a trench shotgun. And while you can upgrade these ones, these aren't a lot of the upgrades are makeshift, because you're on an island with virtually I'm going to say that because very little supplies, which I'll get to in a minute. So a lot of the upgrade that she does is very, very handmade stuff. Like one of the upgrades you'll get for the majority of your weapons, like the assault rifle and the shotgun, is a padded stock, which basically all she does is wrap duct tape around it with a bit of a padding on it, like some cloth that she found, and it's just basically very makeshift. Taping two magazines together to give you an extended mag, and I love that. I love that it's trying to make sure that she's on this island. She's basically making things as she comes along, and one of my favourite ones is the keyring, basically for your bow and arrow, which allows her to get more power because she ties a little keyring to the string, making it easier for her to pull the string. That is very well done and very good to the extent. However, there are some problems with that, in my opinion. As it says, the upgrades are very good. They all have a place in the point. In fact, at one point you can even get a suppressor for your guns. But I'm going to say this right now, there was a little cosmetic discontent. Like, some of the upgrades are very, like, how the fuck did she get a hold of this in this island? She gets a military, near enough a military grade scope for her assault rifle near the end, at one point. And you're like, how the fuck did you get that? And you're like, how the fuck did she make that? That's my opinion. And it's really, it takes a wee bit out of the immersion, because you're like, you run an island and all of a sudden you have a suppressor, an assault, a very high grade scope, and a muzzle flare. You kind of go, it kind of takes you out of the action, in my opinion. But I would like to have maybe they've added a bit more cosmetics. That's a nitpick, by the way, not a major problem. If they'd maybe added a bit more cosmetic, maybe the scope isn't a scope, maybe it's a broken off binocular or something. That would have been a bit more better, in my opinion. By the way, that's a nitpick. That is fine. Let's see, what else can I talk about? The game is graphically stunning. This, in my opinion, is one of the best looking games of 2013. It is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic, I'm not going to lie. The character models for your friends are absolutely brilliant, and your enemies are, they're okay. The distances, like far away looking scenery and close range scenery, and the cinematics are absolutely fan-fucking-tastic, and they are visually one of the best looking games I've seen in a long ass time. And Lara Croft's model as well is one of the best looking models I've ever seen in my life. Not in that way, don't go perverted. I mean, when you look up when she gets scratched and burned and covered in mud, it's very detailed and very well done. I also have to comment on the voice acting in this game. The voice acting is superb. Everyone, especially from Lara Croft, this is the voice of Lara Croft in my opinion. The actress who they got to date her, stay, don't go. Let her be the voice of Lara Croft, pay her whatever. Because she does a fantastic job. I think something happened one day. She does a fantastic job of basically getting that emotion that not a lot of voice actors can perfect, but a lot of voice actors can do. She near enough perfects it, in my opinion, and gets the right amount of emotion in Lara Croft's voice to make sure that you feel for her. Like when she's in danger, it's very well done. I love that. Very major props. That voice acting across the board is fan-fucking-tastic, especially from the voice actress that did Lara Croft, whose name I can't remember, sorry. As you can tell, I can't praise this game enough. It is an absolute fan-fucking-tastic game. And I'll tell you right now, is it worth it or not? Hell fucking yes. For hardcore fans of the Tomb Raider franchise and newcomers, this game is worth every fucking penny. Now, I would highly recommend that if you can get the PC version, because the PC version is basically the superior version, but the Xbox version works fine. It did freeze up once or twice for me, but I think that was because my Xbox is fucking dying on me. God damn, because I think it knows the Xbox 720 is coming. It's like, yes, I'm going to die on you, motherfucker. You have to buy another one. But yeah, I would suggest that if you can get it on the PC version, because it does look a lot. It looks better, and also it has some of the best hair fucking graphics ever. The hair looks fucking realistic beyond bloody belief. I definitely highly recommend this game. It is worth every penny. I'm not even going to say who would like this game and who wouldn't. It is absolutely fantastic. Also, I'm going to tell you this, completionists are going to love this game because there are dozens upon dozens of collectibles in this game, from GPS caches to documents to from layers throughout the place to get the lore of the island out of the way, to tombs. I didn't even talk about the fucking tombs. How fucking retarded am I? The tombs in this game are very Tomb Raider-esque. They're where the majority of the puzzles of the game are. Throughout the tombs, you have to solve a puzzle, and you come across a nice big chest where you get a big experience boost, and also the location of a treasure map that will show you everything on the island, everything in that area where the tomb is that you can get, and it's very well done in that bit. The tombs are some of my favourites. There are only 7 in total, I believe. I wish they'd added a few more, because I think that would have added a lot more to the game. I'll tell you right now, they're absolutely fantastic, and the collectibles as well are fun to collect. I love to collect them. By the end of this game, I had about 71% completion rate by the end, and I did go back and collect a few more bits and bobs in an island too. There are some that are a bit dickish, but otherwise they're okay. worth every penny. I'm telling you this right now. If you haven't, if you're even thinking about picking this game up, go fucking pick it up right now. Close this video and go pick it up. Even if you weren't thinking about picking this up, I would highly recommend it. It is definitely, in my opinion, a must-own for 2013, and in my opinion, the best game so far of 2013. This is a Game of the Year contender. I'm telling you right now. This game is fucking fantastic, and I cannot praise it enough. Go buy it right now. Now, this is basically the end of the review from this point. I'm going to talk a wee bit about nitpicks. I do have a couple of nitpicks about the game that I think they could have flushed out a little bit. And I'm also going to talk a wee bit about the controversy that some people were talking about a few months ago. So, let's go. Firstly, the controversy. And firstly, I got to praise the writer, Rihanna Penticott, I think. Fantastic job. Well done, doll. Very well done. Fantastic writing job. I'm going to tell you this right now. First, let's talk about the controversy. For those who don't know, a few months ago there was a controversy with one of the, I think it was the publishers, stating that there would be an attempted rape scene in this game. There was no attempted rape scene. Now, I don't know if this scene was taken out. It doesn't look like it, but the scene that he was talking about, where like the guy's groping Lara, he doesn't like do anything to her. Like, if you let it happen, he literally just chokes her to death. That's it. That's all he does. Now, I don't know if there was more to that scene maybe before the game came out. There might have been, but I doubt it, because it seems alright. But there's no rape scene, and for those who would... And by the way, if you were going to let that happen, you're a sick fucker, because you'd literally care about this character within the first hour. I love that. Now, my nitpicks, as it says, these are just nitpicks. As it says, this game was advertised as you would have to survive. You would have to like literally kill animals and gather scavenge to survive, basically, and it would be like a survivalist game. It's not that. Basically, as it says, I'm going to tell you this: the way that this game goes, this is some of the best writing in a video game I've seen ever, and it is fantastic for that. I love that for that. And as it says, that is fantastic. This is like movie quality in my opinion. But I'm even going, this is better than movie quality. They wouldn't be able to do this in the movies, in my opinion. But I will say as well, at some points in the game, like, literally in this game, you're never going to run out of ammo. Like, this is something that I think they could have flushed out a wee bit more with, like, this idea of surviving and scavenging for everything. Literally every 5 minutes, you will never run out of ammo. Every 5 minutes, you'll stumble across ammo, whether it be pistol ammo, assault rifle. And literally, bow and arrow arrows are everywhere. Literally speaking, everywhere. You'll stumble across arrows every like fucking 2 steps, which did take a wee bit away from the mood, because you're meant to be on an island in the middle of fucking nowhere, and you're meant to be surviving. Now, another thing that I think they could have done a little bit better is, this is a nitpick. They did advertise at the start of the game that you would have to kill animals to survive, when in actual fact you don't. You only need to kill animals for experience. I kind of wish they'd added a little something to that, like, as I said, if you had to hunt animals, maybe to restore your health or something. Like, you do have regenerative health in this game, but I would have liked if they'd added some aspect to it where you had to survive, and ammo and all that was a bit more scarce, and they used the crafting system a little bit more. As I said, the crafting system is mostly used to upgrade your weapons. I think they could have explored it a little bit more, and maybe used it where you could make arrows or ammunition for your guns, maybe, as you found shell casings or something, and you restock your ammo. And as I say, like, what I would have liked, I think they could have done a little bit better to make this game a bit more survival-y, in my opinion, is if they had added the feature where, like, you regenerated your health, but if you didn't eat, like, say, like, there was, like, I know they didn't want to have a health bar in this game, it's kind of obvious, but they've got fucking counters, so I'm pretty sure they could stuck a mini health bar up there somewhere. That, like, you had 4 pillars of health, like 1, 2, 3, 4. If one pillar went, as long as you had something in one of the pillars, it would regenerate. But if you lost like 2 or 3 pillars and you only had 1 left, you had to go look around for something to restore your health, whether it be first aid kits, which were very hard to find, or just like killing animals and going to a save point, which is a fireplace, and cooking the meat. Or, I'm not saying like show her cooking the meat, I mean like go there, use the animal meat, cook it, and it restores your health. That would have been a bit more fun, in my opinion, if they added a bit more of a survivalist thing to this, where you're on this island, the ammunition is scarce, you have to be smart, you can't be picky, and you have to hunt to survive, basically. You only have to hunt once in this entire game to survive, and that's at the start, and you only really need to look for a first aid kit once, and that's when she's really badly injured. Very scripted events, those two, but that's a nitpick. I would have liked if maybe they'd explored that a little bit more, but as is, maybe time constraints, maybe they just didn't want to do that. It comes and goes. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I can nitpick about? I don't think there is. I say these are nitpicks, but I still love the game, and don't hold that against the game. Please, if you haven't bought it, I've said it, it's worth every fucking penny. Go and buy it. It is worth it. Please go and buy it. It is worth every penny. Support. I want to see more Tomb Raider games. This has made me a... If they make games... If the next Tomb Raider game that they make this Tomb Raider whatever, Tomb Raider 2, just call it, please, you'll have a new loyal fan. I will buy it. I loved this game. It was fan-fucking-tastic. Lara Croft is no longer eye candy. She is a strong, powerful character. And this, in my opinion, is a good step forward to... As I said, I really feel like the writers weren't writing Lara Croft as a female. As I said, some scenes, yes, there were, like the groping scene, of course. But I really feel that the writers weren't writing Lara as a female character. They were writing her as a character in this situation. As I said, I prefer writing like that. I prefer when a writer doesn't use a character's gender to emphasize a point. They don't do this. Lara Croft is a character who's in a fucked up situation and has no choice but to survive. There is one more nitpick I can make. The transition between Lara Croft being basically vulnerable and very to kill people is very sudden. Like, once she kills that first person, like the guy who was groping her, she becomes fucking Rambo and literally just goes, yeah, she's like, oh my god, I just killed someone, oh, there's more guys, more arrow, headshot. Literally, it's that kind of transition. I know they were trying to go with the gameplay aspect, but as I said, I would have liked if they made it a bit more squeamish for her, or a bit more tricky for, like, maybe like the first 10 or so kills that she done, she would react to in a way or some way. But no, I don't mean like after she kills someone she's going, I mean like maybe she was, her hand shake, or at her, basically when she's holding the gun, maybe the gameplay aspect is that her hand would shake. But I know what they were going for, and I like that. And also, for those wondering, like, does she ever wield her dual wielding pistols? She does at one point in the game, but it's kind of spoiler, so I can't talk about it. But all I can say is that if you haven't picked up Tomb Raider yet, go and pick it up. It is the best game of 2013 so far, and I cannot praise it enough. Highly, highly recommend this game. Go and pick it up right now. Worth every penny. Okay? That's about it for my review. Thank you for watching. As always, I'm Scottish Warrior 92, and I'll see you all later. Ciao for now.